a man who's legally blind. The police decide to arrest him for absolutely nothing but ego. Here it is.
Hi there.
Hey.
What's this in your back pocket? I just saw you walking it.
The navigational aids. What's the problem? You a tyrant?
Yeah, I am actually. What's your name and date of birth?
I don't have to give that unless
Yes,
I'm
sir. I was investigating.
You have reasonable
Do you want me to
articulated
put you in
suspicion.
handcuffs right now? Yes, sir, I do.
What is your suspicion?
It looks like you're carrying a gun in your back pocket. I'm stopping to make sure you're carrying it properly. You don't
have
have
you
to.
ensured that it's not a firearm?
No, you keep turning so I can't see it. You don't have to be a to me.
Well, you're being one to me.
No, sir, I'm
Have
doing
a
my
good
job.
day. Am I detained?
Yeah, you are. What's your name and date of birth?
It does not matter.
Yes, sir, it does.
Do you have a crime?
Would you like me
Call
to
your
put you in?
supervisor,
He's right
please.
here.
All right.
You don't.
Sir, what's the stop you for?
Or a walking stick.
So-
And it could look like a weapon. She asked you to
Really?
present it, okay?
Now she's asking me for ID.
Okay.
I don't need the ID unless there's reasonable articulated suspicion that I have committed a crime, am committing a crime,
And
or
her-
about to do a crime.
Sir, and her suspicion was that you were armed, okay? And she's asking you for your ID.
I have more video. My criminal procedure professor in law school, who happens to be a former police officer, would completely flip over this interaction because he actually stands up for justice. The individual who was targeted was correct. Not only do you need to have a reasonable suspicion I'm committing a crime, you have to be able to articulate it properly. You couldn't do it. You know, it's not a crime even if you thought he was armed. It's constitutional to bear arms, is it not? That means it is extra legal to do. That is not a suspicion of a crime. Once he showed you he has no weapon, which by the way, having a weapon is not illegal. He showed you he has a walking stick. Once again, proof, evidence, no crime has been committed. But why did they continue the interaction? Ego, egotistical maniacs is what many of them are. Here's the second video.
Okay? There, you deserve it.
You know, he was actually coming from jury duty. He was coming from jury duty. These are Florida cops who decided to engage this man in this manner. And watch how cold they are after they have flipped this man's life upside down. He is being compliant. He's not resisting arrest. I damn sure would have. You're locking me up for walking? Here's what happened next.
My property up, please.
I sure will. After you have a seat.
I'm gonna pull this out of my back pocket.
Sure. Here, I'll grab your jacket for you too.
You don't have the heart to be a cop. You know, when you're certified as an officer, you know what it says on the document? It doesn't say police officer. It doesn't say law enforcement. It says peace officer. You don't know the meaning of the word. Peace officer. You are in an office of peace, but you bring chaos. You are designated as a certified peace bringer, but in culture, you bring madness. Florida cops harass and detain, this is according to democraticunderground.com, harass and detain a legally blind man walking home from jury duty. No probable cause. They say his walking stick looks like a gun. It doesn't. They then immediately arrest him for resisting arrest when he asked for their badge numbers. This seems like an obvious Fourth Amendment violation to me, and it is. This just happened in Columbia County, Florida. The cops haven't yet dropped the charges. Mr. Hodges is his name. He may need legal assistance, according to Democratic Underground. There's more. There are reports that this poor man, according to Democratic Underground, could not take his meds for the duration of his jail stay, that the stress of the arrest have caused his seizures to come back. This is really terrible, and it was entirely avoidable. Put up the picture, put up the screenshot that we have. Mr. Hodges, I've looked at the charging document, the docket that they have you on currently. I do hope by the time of this broadcast, you've been able to post bond and be released. So I'm gonna be a little light this Christmas, but to you, sir, I'm offering also to pay for your legal bills as you fight the charges, and hopefully you sue them for what they've done. This is, in my humble opinion, a straight and direct Fourth Amendment violation. Sharon, thoughts here?
Does that include kidnapping? Because I feel like he was kidnapped. But protect and serve, this is chaos. This is a police state, and they enjoyed it. She was wrong from the jump.
Yeah.
You would think when the sergeant, he said, get the sergeant here. The sergeant shows up. He knows it's wrong. They both know it's wrong. But let me co-sign, because this uniform that we share, it's thicker than blood. It's thicker than race. It's thicker than anything. Let me co-sign and take a blind man to jail. This is disgusting. Yeah. This is who you want to protect and serve?
I want to remind everyone, it's insane. I want to remind everyone of the interview we did with the former mayor of Ithaca, New York. And he talked about creating a screening process when he was mayor that gave every want-to-be cop, anybody that wanted to be a police officer, they had to do a psychological evaluation coupled with a lie detector test. What they found is that 75% of the people that passed boot camp could not pass that test. And they were able to say no to 75% of the applicants. Guess what? Out of the 25% that made it, not one of them gave this city an issue. Not one. They screened them properly in the beginning and gave the city a better cop.